Hello. 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 I'm eating a cheese sandwich. And I've got a coffee here as well. It's going to be a bit of a long one. A viewer requested that I do a Yes primer, looking at their albums and telling you which ones you could go for, which ones you shouldn't. So I need sustenance to get through this because it's going to be a long one. I think there are only slightly more Yes albums than there have been members, so bear with me. I shall be referring to the Wikipedia entry on their discography and using that. If anyone wants to argue, I can go and argue with Wikipedia and not me. I shall now begin. It all begins in 1969 with the first album, Yes. Very positive affirmation. It's not one of my favourite albums. It's very much the band finding their feet. For me, the tracks I like are Every Little Thing and Survival. Survival, if you listen to it, actually hints at Yes to come. A little bit of perpetual change in there. You can feel the vibe from the Yes album bursting through. If you pick up the remaster from 2003, there's a load of extra tracks on there. Basically like early versions and single editions of other tracks. Dear Father, that's another good track I quite like. Something's Coming, which is a cover of the Sondheim and Bernstein song from, is it West Side Story? I really like that because the band goes off. They were a covers band and they did a lot of covers on this album. That's why I'm not really a big fan of it. Is it essential? No. It's something to go back to see where the band came from. This is followed by Time and a Word. Again, kind of follows the same path as Yes. Opens with No Opportunity Necessary, No Experience Needed, a cover of Richie Havens' song, which again has cowboy influences. I mean, I don't really like it as a record. I only really like Sweet Dreams and No Opportunity Necessary, No Experience Needed. The rest of the album, I can live without. But again, you pick up the 2003 remaster, there's a load of bonus tracks. Now we get to the interesting part, the classic period. Even though Rick Wakeman's not on this album, the Yes album, Fragile, Close to the Edge are regarded as classic Yes. I mean, it's an essential one. You should pick it up. It's got Yours Knows Grey, Starship Trooper, I've Seen All Good People, and Perpetual Change. Well worth exploring. Check it out. The same can be said of Fragile. In fact, Fragile is probably the essential Yes album because it's got all the greatest hits: Roundabout, South Side of the Sky, Long Distance Runaround, Heart of the Sunrise. It's got everything. So you definitely have to track that one down. Then comes Close to the Edge. Lovely. Got some pickle in this as well. It's from 1972. I would say it's the band's magnum opus because this is them reaching their apex in terms of musical creativity and and doing different things. They never really surpassed Close to the Edge. Everything was kind of a repetition after this, Topographic Oceans, Relayer, all kind of follow this template. This is why Bill Bruford left. It's only got 3 tracks on it. The title track, which is an extended piece, made up of tiny little bits of tape by Eddie Offord, gluing it all together. A bit disjointed in places. I remember when I first heard it, I just couldn't get my head around it. It kind of melted my brain because it just didn't sit. The form was a bit odd, but it's got And You and I, which is a fantastic song, and finally Siberian Khatru. Bonus points if you can find the TV program, which used to have the local pub called the Siberian Khatru. So go on. That's a little bit of trivia. Go off and find that for me. Leave it in the comments. So Bill Bruford goes, and in comes Alan White, And we have Tales from Topographic Oceans. I've done a review of this. It's in my prog review list if you go off and have a look at that. It's a double album. It's a big bloated blech of an album. I think there's a good album trying to get out. You know, sides 1 and 4 are essential. Sides 2 and 3, is it worth checking out? You know, come to it later on, perhaps. It's not one of the ones that you should check out immediately, but you know, but it's still worth looking at eventually. Now, a personal favourite, 1974. Rick Wakeman's out the door. Swiss keyboardist Patrick Moraz is hot-footed from Refugee, and he's playing with them. Great album cover by Roger and Dean. It's, like I said, it's one of my favourites. Complete. Again, it takes the shape, the form of Close to the Edge. There are only 3 tracks in it. The first side, Gates of Delirium. I actually wrote when I was a younger man, when I was about 17, I was doing my English A-levels. I actually did a study of well, it weren't of Gates of Delirium. It's actually the influence of the influence of Christian music, i.e. hymns and Salvation Army type songs in relation to progressive rock, and specifically Genesis and Yes. And Gates of Delirium is a very good example of that. There's lots of, it's almost like a battle hymn. And you can relate that to, if you look at the Salvation Army and some of the songs that they used to sing, great parallels lyrically between those two. And I wrote a little thing about that. What a wanker. Anyway, Gates of Delirium, love it. It's almost like a punk prog song. I like how heavy it is. Steve Howe's guitar tone, just makes your ears bleed. Think it's great. Sound Chaser is just crazy jazz bonkers. I love it. You know, just think it's, you know, the band doing something different. And To Be Over, it's just a beautifully wonderful, mellow, enjoyable track, if you know what I mean. This is followed up by Going for the One. Mraz is out. Vangelis is in, then he's out. And then Rick Wakeman's in, but not realising he's in, and he's not out. Anyway, it's got a bum on the cover, so that's always a good sign. Male bum, never a lady's bum. But I'm loving this. Going for the One. It was an album that took me a long time to love, you know? Took me a long time to get into Going for One. A lot of people like it because it's got Going for the One on it and Wondrous Stories, the hits, as it were. But of course, the true gem has got to be Awaken, which is 15 minutes. Again, it's kind of proggy, but I like it because it's got an ethnic feel to it. I like it. I remember seeing it when the band performed on the Union tour, and it was just first time I'd heard it played live, and it was just magical, and the lights. And so yeah, I mean, is it essential? I don't know. It's definitely one to check out later on. Tormato. It's 1978. What can we say about Tormato? Again, it's not one you should go to. I mean, for me, it's only got 2 good tracks in it: Release, and On the Silent Wings of Freedom. Arriving UFO, you got to be kidding me. Circus of Heaven, you got to be kidding me. And the rest of it, I can do without. But those 2 tracks are worth checking out. Again, the bonus CD 2003, 2004, has got some really interesting bonus tracks, well worth checking out. You've got Abilene by Steve Howe, which is a really nice piece, which was the B-side to Don't Kill the Whale. Money, which is almost like a satirical song with Rick Wakeman doing the vocals. You only get it if you know anything about British politics from the late 1970s. Picasso, oh Picasso, lie still. A great little track, was never made it to album, unfortunately. Summer Born, which ends up on Anderson's Song of Seven. You Can Be Saved by Squire High, by Howe. Days, I think that appears on Song of Seven as well. And there's loads of other stuff well worth checking out. But the album itself, not so. But if you're a hardcore fan, check out the remastered version with the extra tracks. 1980 comes. We're in the 80s now, and it's all change in the Yes camp. Video has killed the radio star, and so we see Trevor Horn and Jeffrey Downes in the band, and John Anderson and Rick Wakeman off. Started off as XYZ, X Yes Zeppelin, evolved into Drama, or was it after Drama? I can't remember. Did XYZ came after Drama or before Drama? I don't know. I might have got that wrong. I think XYZ came after. Anyway, I'm burbling. I should be talking about the album. I really like Drama because it is the band really cutting to the chase. It's only 36 minutes long. 36 minutes 55. Call it 37 minutes. Yeah. It's the band at their almost at a commercial peak. Okay, we're going to talk about 90125 in a minute, but that's not Yes. I really like it. I know a lot of people won't give it a chance because there's no John Anderson, but Trevor Horn does a good job. The production is fantastic, and you know, I've got a lot of time for it. And it was good to hear the band do some of those songs recently. You got Machine Messiah, White Car, Into the Lens, Run Through the Light, and of course the great track Tempest Fugit, which is good fun. The remastered version, which has bonus tracks on the CD, I've got a load of extra material which never made it onto the album and is well worth investigating. And actually, yeah, tracks 13 to 16, Dancing Through the Light, Golden Age in the Town, Friend of a Friend, are actually all Anderson, Hale, Squire, Wakeman and White tracks which were meant to be after the Tormato period, so recorded in Paris. So again, if you're a hardcore fan, well worth checking out. And then it's 1983. The scourge of the video age is here. MTV. I want my MTV. And we've got 90125. I can't stand it. I really can't. Yeah, okay, I like Owner of a Lonely Heart because it is a pop classic, and I like cinema. And that's just about it. The rest of it is a load of old toss. It's just Trevor Rabin, you know, doing his thing. Yeah, I mean, Rabin's great. He's a good pop guitarist, but it's not Yes. So I wouldn't even check it out. I think it stinks. Big Generator, 1987. 4 whole years have passed, and it's 1987. If I recall, Big Generator took ages to record. It's not a very good album. It's I do like Rhythm of Love though. It's quite good fun, and that's about it really. I can't stand the rest of it. And I don't. So there you go. It's the same old crap from 90125 really. But Rhythm of Love is quite good fun. And now this is the thing. Do we talk about ABWH? Shall we bring them in to the fold? Shall we say that for one night only, ABWH is Yes by just another name? Yeah, I'm going to bring him in. ABWH is a great record. Don't care what you say. I think it's for the time, it was a real masterpiece of modern late 80s prog. It appeared when prog was unfashionable, and you know, I love that Bruford and Tony Levin are doing their thing. There's lots of interesting percussion stuff. Steve Howe, Rick Wakeman, good stuff going on there, and you know, John Anderson doing what John Anderson does. I think it's a really cohesive album, and you should check it out. Don't care what anyone else might say, I think you should check it out. ABWH, you know it makes sense. And this is followed by 1991's Union. I know Rick Wakeman calls it Onion because it always makes him cry, but when I got it, I remember at the time, it took ages to come out, and I was really looking forward to it because I liked Anderson, Bruford, Wakeman so much. I thought it was a bit disappointing because I thought the running order was a bit wrong. The yes East and yes West stuff was, you know, it didn't sit well together, and it could have been formatted a bit differently. But I have fond memories of the album. I know there are a host of session musicians on it, but for me, it reminds me of a happier time. But really, is it a Yes album? No, probably not. So you might want to leave that one to the end and come back to it. I Would Have Waited Forever is a great one. Shock to the System is great. Yeah, and that's it. I mean, there are some other good stuff on there, but again, there's too many guest performers. And then we get to Talk. Again, Talk. Levin's back. Levin, what am I saying? Rabin. I think Tony Levin. A bit of sandwich. Feed me brain. So yeah, Rabin's back. And Steve Howe's gone off with a flea in his ear. And Tony Kaye has replaced Rick Wakeman on keyboards. I mean, this is the guy that does the one-handed thing. He goes like that. His hand doesn't move and he dances around. Yeah, come on. Talk. It's better than 90125 and Big Generator. I mean, it's Rabin trying to be prog, and you know. The interesting thing at the time, I think it's one of the earliest albums recorded using digital editing or something. I remember reading about it at the time. So it's kind of a pioneering album in that respect, but nah, I don't bother checking that one out. Maybe go back to it later on. And then 96, 97, you got Keys to Ascension 1 and 2. It's a double album, but recently it's been all brought together into one set, and it's worth getting because I think it was about $12.99. Part of it is a live album, part of it's the studio. The studio stuff includes, let me just bring up the track listing, a great track called Mind Drive. I mean, I really do enjoy Mind Drive. It's like the band doing a proper 20-minute epic. It's good fun, and I remember those tracks are, really are quite enjoyed them actually. And there's again on Keys to Ascension 1. That is another 20-minute track. I quite like them. They're not the band's strongest material, but if you get the $12.99 reissue of this, you also get the DVD as well, so you can watch the band play and hear all the studio tracks too. So well worth checking out if you want to see what the band are doing in the mid-90s. Right, Open Your Eyes. Next, The Ladder. Now this was I remember this when it came out. Again, I was looking forward to it. Unfortunate story was the producer Bruce Fairburn. I think he died towards the end of the album being finished. He didn't turn up to the studio, and the band sent someone out, and they found him dead in his apartment of a heart attack. Tragedy. But this is this is a different configuration yet again. You've got John Anderson, Steve Howe, Billy Sherwood, Chris Squire, Alan White, and Igor Watch My Hands Koroshev. He's a bit feely, if you know what I mean. Yeah, I remember at the time I quite enjoyed it. I remember Homeworld being good fun, and It'll Be a Good Day, The River, and Lightning Strikes. Again, it's not an album I go back to. It's not classic Yes per se, but you know, the band are heading towards the turn of the century. I thought, it's not bad. Better than Talk. So yeah, and then what comes after? Magnification. Ah, that's an interesting one. So yeah, Magnification. After the problems with Igor Koreshev, and Rick Wakeman just saying, I can't be bothered with any of that stuff, the band are keyboardless. And so instead of actually finding someone who played the ivories, they decided to get an orchestra involved. An orchestra. Keyboard. Orchestra. I don't get it either. But it's quite interesting to hear the band. It's open. You hear the band opened up slightly. It's interesting to hear them play against an orchestra. Again, it's not really an essential album, but it kind of works. Magnification's a good track. Spirit of Survival, quite enjoyed that. I don't have much memory of the rest of the record, unfortunately. I remember it being a bit, but yeah. So yeah, there's also a 5.1 version of that somewhere, which I'm going to try and hunt down one day. And yeah, probably worth checking out, when you've got a few moments. And then that brings us up to date in the studio albums up to Fly From Here. Now I've got a lot of time for Fly From Here. It's the band in drama mode. You've got Trevor Horn producing. You got, unfortunately, poor old Benoit David, who's been sacked. That's not right. He did a good job on the vocals, sounding like Trevor Horn, and it's kind of almost classic Yes territory. If you like the drama album, you'll like that. If you want to hear what the band's up to, it's that thing of, enjoying. Enjoying. Sorry, my mind just wandered off. Then, what was I talking about? I need some more coffee. Yeah, you get to hear the band doing their modern day thing. First side's good, second side's a little uneven, but it's not all bad. Yeah. Now, there have been quite a few live albums. Yes songs, it's essential. Yes shows, not so essential, but because it's a bit of a mishmash. 9012 Live, the solos. House of Yes, Live from the House of Blues. Yeah. The Word is Live. Now that is a compilation. That is actually well worth checking out because it brings a load of different periods of Yes together. If you look around, you can get that box set for fairly cheap these days, and it's quite interesting. Live in Montreux. I've only ever seen a DVD of that, so it's all right. I would say the band were particularly hitting their stride. Symphonic Live, that's Magnification era. Yes, it's all right. And then you've got Union Live, which was released last year, which is, it's good to see. The DVDs for that is quite good, and it's quite interesting to hear the multi-limbed, multi-headed version of Yes in all its glory. And as for compilations, my goodness, there are more compilations than you can wave a stick at. But the one you should look out for is In a Word, Yes 1969 dash, because again it brings a lot. If you want a one big hit of Yes without spending lots of money, that's the one to get. I think again that you might be able to pick that up for about £20-25 these days. So yeah, now I think I've done just about everything I can do with this. So essentially, The Yes album, Fragile Close to the Edge. Essential. Relayer. Drama. Going for the one. Topographic Oceans. And then you can start exploring the later stuff and the earlier stuff. Hopefully this has been useful. Hopefully you haven't taken offence at me eating a cheese sandwich whilst I've been doing this. Hopefully you can forgive the almighty brain fart I had during the recording of this. It happens. It's late. I should be in bed. Anyway, my name's been Darren Locke. I've been doing a primer on Yes, the albums of Yes. And hopefully this will be useful to some of you. And there's only one more thing to say. Are you ready? Prog on. Ta-da.